I really have work that is so intensely meaningful to me. I'm just so blessed to be able to do it. I'm Jamie Sarche. I am the Director of Outreach and Prearranged Funeral Planning at Feldman Mortuary and Generations Funeral Services. What I'm really committed to is helping people put their plans in place long before they're needed, so they have time to really think, to make good decisions, to make decisions that are going to be best for themselves and for the people that they love.
We are Stephen and Michelle Toltz.
We have 2 kids, Sydney and Jack Toltz. They're teenagers. And we have 4 cats. We've been married 23 years this month.
I am a 3rd generation Denver native, and I am the president of Dependable Cleaners, which is an 84-year-old family business. I brought the idea of advanced planning home to Michelle because selfishly I wanted to lock in 2012 pricing, hopefully for a long time into the future.
When my mom died, it was one of the hardest times in my life, and I was already grieving, and to try to figure out what she wanted, what kind of service and how she wanted to go was really difficult, and there wasn't really anything written down. As a matter of fact, she was comatose in the end, so she really wasn't able to convey anything.
I didn't want to put my kids through that, or anyone. I want to set forth what I want so that they could feel complete, that they did what they were supposed to do.
When I converted to Judaism, one of the things I read was that you should just have a simple pine box. When we came to pick out our caskets, I asked Jamie which one Rabbi Goldberger was buried in, and she pointed to this simple box, and that's the one I chose. I preferred that.
I wanted the nice one. Jamie was really sensitive to the fact that Michelle and I come from different backgrounds.
Jamie made this a smooth and easy decision process. She had no judgment. She was very kind and sincere and cared about our choices, and I just love her.
Jim is a gentleman, and he does what he says he's going to do when he says he's going to do it, and he knows exactly how you should act.
Pre-planning this was one of the best ideas we've had.
It gave me a peace of mind touring the facility on a day in which our feelings were light and lively and not morose and sad. I actually found a comfort level in going and seeing exactly what the process is. I no longer really have a mystery about death.
I meet with people where they're most comfortable. Sometimes it's in their home. Oftentimes it's right here in the arrangement room. I like them to really recognize that this is a safe and warm and welcoming place, so that when they have to come here, when there's been a death, they don't feel nervous about that piece.
My name is Ernie Stone. This is my wife, Rita. We've been together 54 years. We'll be together 55 years in July. We're both retired and living happily ever after.
I am from Omaha, Nebraska. I have 2 children and 4 grandchildren.
We're both over 80, and we're working on our bucket list. And one of the things for our bucket list is to pre-plan our funeral. The only thing we haven't planned, we've yet to set a date, but we'll be ready when it comes.
My mother was 94 years old. She fell and broke her hip. About a year later, I decided I should plan a funeral, which luckily for me, I did. I promised my mom she'd be buried in clothes. Feldman was willing to respect my wishes, and they were very nice to work with.
In the Jewish tradition, a tradition states that your burial will be within 24 hours of the death. Being Reformed, we don't always follow that. However, when you do have to plan a funeral, it's immediate. There's no planning way ahead unless you pre-plan it. Jamie has a lot of compassion. She puts you at real ease.
I'm really holding their hand through something that is very tough for them. And then I know when the time comes and we put those services into place for their loved ones are also going to get that incredible care, and they are going to know that they did exactly what their loved one wanted, We always hear from children, that was the biggest gift that my parents could have ever given me.
My name is Nancy Cohen Nowak. I have 3 children. My husband passed away about 3 years ago. I am a divorce mediator and therapist. For fun, I play with my grandchildren. About 4 years ago, I was taking a class with Jamie Sarche, and the class was called Before the Morning, Mourning. Part of the program was where Jim Cohen came and talked to us about making pre-arrangements for funerals. I went home, said to my husband, this makes sense. Why don't we do this? And he agreed. So in September of 2010, we came to the office and met with Jamie for a couple hours and had a lovely experience with her. As we were working with Jamie, I discovered my husband wanted to be cremated. When Jamie saw my response, I cringed. She stopped us and said, you two need to talk about this because the surviving person needs to be comfortable with what the plans are for the deceased person. Rather than going home and talking about it, the two of us discussed it right there in the office with Jamie. With her wonderful help, we came up with the conclusion that we would both be buried in a traditional fashion. When he did pass away and all those plans were made, it was a phenomenal relief that we were not having to go through the trauma of yet having to figure out what to do at a time when we were emotionally wrought out. I not only did this for us, but I did it for our children. It's a wonderful opportunity for people to start fighting and arguing and get upset with one another because everybody is so distressed. Because we made these pre-arrangements, we did not have to then focus on the minutia of what was going to be happening. We could focus on our own emotional well-being and on the strength of a family.
So we sit together and go over all of the pragmatic pieces that will be needed on the day of a death. There's about 120 questions that have to be answered and pieces of information that have to be shared to make a service happen.
My name is Rabbi Adam Morris. Temple Micah, the synagogue where I serve, is a special place. It's a place that prides itself on what I'd call its radical inclusiveness. I've come to know Jamie in her role to reach out to people in the community to help them know more about the process of pre-planning, of getting ready for the inevitable for all of us. The people of Feldman, they deal with death and dying all the time. But the people in my congregation, in our community, they don't. The people of Feldman understand this, and they approach everyone with that wealth of expertise and knowledge, but also that compassion that everyone does not come to them with that same comfort level. I would recommend to every single person in my community to do this pre-planning because it's a gift. It's a gift for your family. It's a gift for your children or whoever survives you, that you have thought about these questions, that you take that burden, that stress of thinking through these things off them at a time which will be very difficult for them because they'll be missing you.